All right, it is day 6 with the bees. I haven't messed with them since that first day I put them in the hive. There's 10 frames in the medium box that they're living in. 5 of them came from the nuke and were full. A lot of people will say once you get to 70-80% capacity, you want to put a new box on top. So I already had 5 frames that were totally full of brood, honey, everything they need to survive. All they need to do is fill out 2, maybe 3 frames, and I want to put another box on there because it'll keep growing the colony, and I don't want them to swarm, which they'll do if they don't have room anymore. So I'm going to use smoke this time. I'm going to put on gloves. I'm going to open her up, see if they drank the sugar water. I'm going to see if the frames are being used up, and then maybe we'll add a second box if it is. So let's open her up and find out. All right, so first I can see here this jar is totally empty, so they drank all the sugar water. I will take that off. Now let's give them a little bit of smoke. Let's remove this box. All right. So I opened it up, and based on first impression, they're definitely mostly around these 5 frames from the nuke originally. So the whole box isn't full, so we're not really worried about a swarm or anything. I'm gonna take out some of the frames, inspect them, and see what we got going on. I should mention, I chose to do this at like 7:30 a.m. before it's really sunny and really bright. It's better to mess with them earlier in the morning or later in the evening, I've heard, before they're really active midday. This is one of the frames that had drawn comb on it but was not part of the nuke. They're definitely using it, but they're not utilizing the new 5 frames as much after only 5-6 days of being out here. So I don't think I'm going to add another box right now. I might check back in 1 week. Maybe I will then. I think the plan is just going to be to, I'm going to look at the brood in the middle. I just want to make sure the queen is still here. But I think the plan is just going to be to give them more sugar water, come back in a week, and see if we add a second box then. Yep, from what I can tell, I'm still seeing all different kinds of levels of brood in here. So even though I'm not going to take the time to find the queen, I know she's still laying. If you can see that, there's another guy with pollen on his legs, another forager bee right there. Now here's one example of something small that I'm learning. I remember hearing that once you put in all your new frames, you kind of have to push them together because there's a little bit of wiggle room between each frame. I guess I was more worried about squishing the bees, so I didn't do that. And if you can tell here, between where the frames touch, there's now wax, drawn comb, bee stuff, and now that's kind of stuck in the way, and I might have to clean that out. But what I should have done is just press them really firm together like this and left a gap on either end of the box. But it's all good. I'll try to squish them together now and see how it looks. All right, I'm gonna go get some sugar water. just literally putting like a cup of sugar and a cup of water into that jar. I'm gonna put it on there, give them some more food because they're definitely using it and I want them to expand. My Uncle Chad mentioned I could use like a feeder board to make sure they're getting good access to the sugar water, but for now, using the hole in the lid, they seem to be eating it all, so I'll leave it this time. We'll see what happens next time. But I'll put some sugar water on top, cover it up with the box, put on the lid, and just let them work for a week, and I'll probably check back in. One thing I forgot, my Uncle Chad did mention a technique I think called like checkering, where if they're really using these center frames and not utilizing the ones outside as much, you can replace one on the inside from one on the outside, switch them, and it might encourage them to use the new stuff and expand a little bit. So we're gonna try that. Now I just took off this comb from the bottom of the frame. It's good to check the bottom of the frame because that's where I think, if I'm correct, I think that's where swarm cells will show up when you're, swarm cells? When they're looking to make a new queen, if the queen's not producing or if she's dead, they'll start to create new cells down here, and that's kind of how you can tell. And they'll be trying to prepare a new queen, I think. Who knows? I'll watch more YouTube. Here's an example of some more comb at the bottom of a frame. I don't know, if you saw a little like mound right here with a hole on top, they would be preparing for maybe a new queen. You might see like 2, 3, 4, 5 of those on the bottom. But this looks to be just comb. Well, that's pretty much it. We'll check in next week to see if they're building it out. They definitely are using an extra frame or two than what they were last time, but I'd like them to get at least 2 or 3 that are completely full before I add another box. So we tried that checker pattern. I moved 2 from the outside, and I took the center frame of the 5 from the nuke, took the one on the right of that, switched it with the second to furthest one on the right, and did the same on the left side. Hopefully they utilize those 2 and keep expanding, and then maybe next week we'll check it out. Maybe we'll add another box. I didn't really look for the queen, but I know she's in there because of the brood pattern. That's it.